Ukraine said on December 21 that its troops were battling an attempted Russian breakthrough in the northeastern Sumy region, close to the border with Russia. This marks a renewed Russian advance in the part of the region largely spared from intense ground fighting since Ukraine regained land there in a 2022 counteroffensive. Ukrainian Ombudsman Dmitriev and other officials said Russian forces forcibly moved around 50 residents from a border village in the area across into Russian territory. Ukraine's Joint Forces grouping reported that fighting is currently ongoing in the village of Grabovske, with Ukrainian defenders trying to push Russian units back over the border. A day earlier, Russia's defense ministry claimed that its troops had captured the village of Whitaker, located a short distance from Grabovske, suggesting a broader push along that stretch of the frontier. On December 20, Ukraine's military reported roughly 235 combat engagements with Russian forces across the front, underscoring the intensity of fighting along multiple sectors. According to Ukrinform, 72 of those clashes took place in the Pokrovsk sector, where Russia has been pressing a major offensive for weeks. General Staff of Armed Forces of Ukraine said, quote, Russian forces carried out 70 airstrikes on the positions of Ukrainian units and populated areas, dropping 166 guided aerial bombs. In addition, the enemy conducted 3,609 shelling attacks, including 94 using multiple launch rocket systems, and deployed 2,833 Kamikaze drones. Unquote. That same day, local authorities said a man and a woman were wounded in Russian shelling of the Nikopol district in Dnipropetrovsk Oblast, part of continuing strikes on civilian areas near the Dnipro River. Acting head of Dnipropetrovsk military administration said, quote, the enemy shelled the district center and the Pokrovsky, Marhanets, and Mirov communities of the Nikopol district with heavy artillery and FPV drones. An 86-year-old woman and a 65-year-old man were injured. The condition of both is moderate. Unquote. Ukraine's security service said its long-range drone struck 2 Russian Su-27 fighter jets at the Belbek military airfield in occupied Crimea, about 240 kilometers from the front line. The SBU reported that one of the Su-27s, valued at around $70 million, was parked on a taxiway fully armed and ready for a combat sortie when it was destroyed by the drone strike. The second Su-27 was damaged in the same attack on Belbek airfield, which has become a key Russian hub for fighter operations and air defenses on the peninsula. Said its air defense system units shot down at least 3 Ukrainian drones on the previous night, highlighting intense drone combats as part of the warfare. The Russian Ministry of Defense claimed that 2 Ukrainian drones were destroyed over the Volgograd region and 1 was shot down over the Rostov region. Against this backdrop, the US Permanent Representative to NATO, Whitaker, said he does not expect the war to stop in 2025 and warned that Ukraine must be prepared for continued fighting into 2026. Whitaker told Fox News that while the US wants a peace deal, Kiev should plan for prolonged conflict if talks fail to produce an agreement in the coming months. US Permanent Representative to NATO said, quote, Ukraine should also be prepared to fight into 2026. And it is the reason that the $105 billion loan at the EU was approved, to fund that. As we head into this winter without a peace deal, that the fighting will continue. Unquote. Meanwhile, Russian negotiator Kirill Dmitriev has held talks with his US counterpart in Miami as part of ongoing discussions over President Trump's proposed peace framework. US Special Envoy, Steve Witkoff said, quote, over the last 2 days in Florida, the Russian Special Envoy Kirill Dmitriev held productive and constructive meetings with the American delegation to advance President Trump's peace plan on Ukraine. The American delegation included Special Envoy Steve Witkoff, Jared Kushner, and White House staff member Josh Gruenbaum. Russia remains fully committed to achieving peace in Ukraine. Russia highly values the efforts and support of the United States to resolve the Ukrainian conflict and re-establish global security. Unquote. At the same time, a senior aide to Vladimir Putin has dismissed recent peace ideas from Kiev and its European partners as unconstructive, arguing that changes suggested by Ukraine and the EU only complicate prospects for a deal. Russian presidential aide Kirill Dmitriev is currently on a business trip in Miami. I hope that Mr. Dmitriev will bring back some signals from his trip, which the Americans received from the Europeans and Ukrainians. We will discuss all this here and see what can be accepted and what cannot be categorically accepted. I think most of the proposals, of course, will not suit us, because we will stick to what we agreed upon in Anchorage during a meeting between US leader Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin and at other meetings with American representatives.
Most of the proposals appear to be from Ukrainians and Europeans.
Right? What has been proposed seems quite unconstructive to me.
Dmitriev is probably communicating some specific signals to you from there.
Dmitriev is reporting some things, but we're waiting for his return. I hope he will return on Monday and report to the president first on the results of his negotiations. After that, we will develop a position with which we will proceed further, including in contact with the Americans.
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that we will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest newsmakers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the US will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry ghats.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Deep dive into burning issues.
It's often said DRC could be the richest country in the whole world. It's because of what sits underneath.
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HD videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.